Okay, so here's this flat from the Solstice that we talked about earlier that I've got to repair. You can see right here the fiberglass was ripped out, and this piece is supposed to mount on it like this. So what I'm going to do, I don't think these are available anymore, at least I haven't been able to find them online. I found one on eBay. A guy was selling for $90 for this one little piece. So I'm going to try to fix this first, and if all else fails, I guess I'll have to order it off eBay. But I'm going to try to epoxy this on there. So I'm going to sand down any of the metal, paint off of any part of the metal of this that touches the fiberglass, like here, right here on this side and on this side, and then on this piece right here, sand that down to bare metal and scuff up whatever areas of this fiberglass that touches, and mix up this JB Marine Weld, which is the strongest I found. It's in 3960 psi, and then you got to clamp it for like 4 hours and then let it sit for 24 hours before you put pressure on it. So I hope it's really good, strong stuff. We'll see. Okay, so I'll let that dry till tomorrow night, and hopefully that stuff does its magic and stays on there and nothing can get it off. Then I also have this 3M weather strip adhesive I'm going to use on this. This is the old one, but on the one that's up there on the car, and that'll cover that top piece where the door meets the quarter panel. Once that's done, we'll start with the top. Looks like all of our bonding areas are good and solid. So we're gonna let that sit all the rest of today, and then by tonight it should be cured enough. So I thought I'd show you, like here I have an extra tulip here that I got from the salvage yard when I bought the top and all that stuff. So here's how this thing, where it goes, you know. And so it's helpful to look underneath and see what we're gonna have to deal with to get it installed. So on ours, this piece right here was bent, and this piece over here is the side that was broken. So it's gonna go like this. Sorry, this side was the one that was broken. This is the side I had to get out that was so hard, the one on the right. So to get this back in, we're gonna have to push it in on the side that I repaired. Is gonna have to be pushed in. Before I can do that, I gotta remove all of this. So there's a little clip right here we'll have to take out. And when we do, that spring is going to want to go crazy and come off. So when I take that clip off, I'm going to try to see if I can just pull this thing back like, you know, a ½ inch or something, to where this is about the only amount to stick it out, get the piece in, and then push it back in without the spring going boing. So, and you got to do that upside down and backwards in the car, because this is all around, you can't really see what you're doing. So we'll see how that works. I might put a little bit of oil on each one of these tips so it slides in these holes. So the big trick is going to be able to get this piece, like I showed you down there on the salvage piece. Gotta get this little clip off and take the spring off and put this back in with the flap, and then get the spring rewound and put back on without dropping it down into the abyss. Because if it goes down there it's goodbye spring and goodbye clip. So I might be able to fish it out through the bottom in here, but it's doubtful. So what I might do is, when I'm trying to put the spring on there, is I might put a piece of thread on there, tie it to something up here. If I drop it, at least I can pull it back out. But I'm going to use the Dremel first and clean up these studs right here and right here. Actually, I can clean that one up when I get it out, make sure it's all nice and clean so that it slides into these holes with these metal brackets here and here. I don't want it to bind up, so we'll do that first and then get the actual flap installed and then try to get the spring wound. That wasn't near as hard as I thought. So spring loaded, goes back where it's supposed to go. So if that epoxy holds up, then that is a fixed flat. So I guess now we'll move on to putting the soft top back in, and whatever repairs we're gonna have to do on the fabric we'll do with it up, because I can't do a lot of the interior stuff until I get that soft top back on, so I know how to adjust the windows and I can put the door panels back on and carpet and all that stuff. One thing that I noticed before I get too far on this installing the soft top is up inside there is a piece of metal, and I think what happened was when whatever fell on the roof, there's supposed to be two studs that stick out on the soft top from this point and wherever the one is off there that was smashed off. And they're big long studs, and it was one sticking out of this one on this side, and I pulled it out. It's easy to get to, and there it is. So that big long piece of metal is shoved up inside that other one. I've got to figure out how to get that out. It's too far down in there to reach with pliers or anything like that. I can try a magnet, but I'd be shocked if that works. So I have to get that out before I can try to fit the top closed anyway. So okay, so what I had to do was remove the sun visor right here. It's kind of dark, I know. And so when you pull that down, you can look back behind here. See that piece is bolted to the windshield frame. And if you look back, it's gonna be really hard to see, but if you look back behind it, there is the end of that piece of metal. So if I can shove something behind there and pull it back out, I should be able to shove it back out the hole. We'll see what it does. And there it is. Stuck something behind it and it came flying out the hole. So that's solved. And I've got this piece right here. I got an extra one when I was at the salvage yard since this was broken. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that while I'm this far into it. Before I would put this plastic piece back on here, I got the feeling around where I think that whatever hit the roof hit right here. I felt a knot right here underneath where this plastic goes. And look at that. There's a dent. So I think I'm gonna try to do that with this without taking all this off, but I think I can bend that back out by hand. Hopefully I don't hit it harder or anything like that and crack a windshield. So I think I can try to do it with pliers. If not, I can tap around on it. So I've got all that back together. And now it's time to bring in the soft top. Shove the whole thing that way towards the passenger side about half an inch or so, and see if this thing will go back all the way back down. It's hitting something right here, but it goes down on the other side, so now I'll have to see what it's doing here. All right, so here it is. It's mounted on there. Not sure. It's still got some adjusting to do. Not quite happy with everything. The front looks really good. I'm getting ready to start trying to adjust the windows. I'm not really sure why this window looks like it has a sharper point right here, and this is really curved.
Do you have any questions about this week's video? Do you have an answer to one of the questions we asked? Leave a comment down below, and always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. See you guys next week. After this video, make sure to check us out on Instagram, where we post behind the scenes photos, sneak peeks, giveaways, and information for future projects. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.